What you see in front of you is what I call my volunteer data tracker. At my office, I am a park ranger for my job, and part of my job as a park ranger is to track volunteer data. That would include who is coming and going, when they come and go, the number of hours, the value to the agency, and a few other details. This spreadsheet is something I've been trying to and wanting to build for a long time, and the class motivated me to do so. So in this first tab, the Home tab here, we have our Home dashboard. And each one of these buttons is a VBA button set up and designed to take you automatically to any tab you want in the bottom. The good feature is once you get to that tab, when you're done with it, you click the other button up here in the top left corner of any one of these tabs. It'll take you automatically back to the home board. Each one is labeled, as you can see, and each label gives a simple description. This one is in red because this is the volunteer tables. Do not change them, it will corrupt the past or present data. Volunteer tables are just for usage inside the database. These are for drop-downs and other such, and not for common everyday editing. As you can also notice, several of my tabs are locked, prevent people from corrupting them. This is my hourly wage tab right here. I use my ID number at the last 4 digits of my ID number in the calculations for the 2020 value of a volunteer to a government agency. It is actually not $76.26. It's more like $25.90. But for this particular project, I put in 76.26, which does tend to affect the value of the volunteers if I was to do this real life. Let's go back to the first one here. So volunteer data, the home dashboard takes you to the volunteer dashboard. The volunteer dashboard is for viewing single individuals. You cannot change anything on here. It is all locked down. Everything has pop-outs and notes, so you can tell exactly what you're looking at in the data form. All these fields are here in the spreadsheet, but accumulated together so you can see exactly what each information means. If a person has been brought on here in this spot, then depending on who you select here, let's say Dennis Turner. He is currently located and assigned to Potters Creek Volunteer Site 01. He is currently a volunteer of mine also. If you pick someone else that comes and goes, like the equestrian groups, site is not applicable to him. And currently accepted application, no. Therefore, site is not applicable to him. We have a date in which data application was received. We have the required forms over here, which we must have filled out completely before they can join us. And over here we have the date in which they left service with us. That is important to internal agencies, so when someone leaves, we know they're gone. So if we want to see if they've left yet, we can see the date over here and say, oh, nope, they've not gone. Now, for a group like the equestrian group that comes and goes all the time, that date is not truly valid. But for this purpose, I put a date in there to make it a functional form to show more detail. And you can go through any one of these, and we'll just go back to BSA. That's Boy Scouts of America. We use them a lot. This is the table where the form is, you saw. Back here, you have the volunteer tables. There you go. And you can add more volunteers, fill in drop-downs, select drop-downs. Alright. The volunteer values. This is the value that the volunteer has for the Corps. Now this sheet comes from the service records here. And the service record is the volunteer, the date of service, the year of service, what duty they performed, where they performed it, hours, the value. Look, 76.26. My ID number pops up and is used in the calculations. If you look at the formula, if it uses this, therefore I can use this. As you can see, I use the year to find the value off of the values table I showed you earlier. And then we calculate the value for the whole thing. And this here is a total calculations. Like I said, this is the service calculations. This is pulled out so that we can see the volunteer, cumulative hours, cumulative service value, and how long they've worked with us, and number of service records. 1 record, 2 records, 3 records. So if they do 15 events with us a year, they'll show 15. If they do 32 events, it'll be 32. Stars represent people who have gotten more than 1, but less than 200 hours. Of course, this represents 0. If we had a gold star in here, which I did not have at the time, we would have a volunteer has just earned, and even says here, a star means that 200 plus hours and have earned a volunteer pass. On this one, total for hours. On this one, the hours and time, the time in which they have worked here at Canyon Lake Forest. On this chart here, gives sort of a breakdown of the volunteers and percentage of the cumulative hours. You can see here, this particular individual, Jeff Mason, is the larger producer of hours for the Corps as a volunteer. Here, on this one, we have the duty detail table, and that includes the value of the projects and the year. Here, we can sort it by BSA. We can sort it by year. We can sort it by location. Then we have the service value, the financial value to the Corps. We can this one's for this table. This one's this table. We can go through park and see where the most value is and which location has had the most financial input by a volunteer. So if we say we go to Fishing Pier, oh look, we got $405. Why are we spending so much money there? We need to find out what's going on. Now if we go over here to fix water leaks, it gives you an idea. Something's not right here. Clear that. And so this is what my table shows. And over here, once again, this is the financial table. And this takes us back to the home page where we started. And this represents, actually, once again, my volunteer data tracking database that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And now that I have one, I'll be able to apply it to my office.